And I invite you to kind of look around in your life and see if there's someone who's handling a situation that maybe is difficult for you, and see how they're handling it. Hello, this is Dr. Wells with Wells Medicine, and I wanted to talk today about one of the things that I find really helpful in therapy is the idea of sort of outsourcing your decisions to someone that you love or trust or have accountability with. And I mean this in a couple of different ways. So one, often we are not the best judges of even our internal world, and certainly not the best judges often of what we want to do or how we're responding to things or doing. There's a reason that we use objective measures, so questionnaires, to kind of guide how patients are responding to treatment. But we also do use the sort of subjective experience of people who are looking at the patient and how they're doing kind of in the day-to-day world. And what I mean by that is often kind of the people around you might see, gosh, you're going out to lunch, you cleaned your room, you picked up your guitar. There's sort of all this progress being made and actions being taken where we still might not feel like we're making a lot of progress. And so sometimes people around us can see that action and progress before we feel better. And similarly, sometimes the people around us can also see when we might be fading a little bit, when we might need to come back for a ketamine treatment or re-emphasize vitamins or re-emphasize going for walks or exercise, and taking some of those holistic health steps, or coming in for a TMS treatment. And that can be doing less things. So, for example, staying in bed more, not wanting to go out, isolating, not doing as many of those personal interest things as you were. And so the people around us can sometimes have really great input into how our mood is doing as well. Sometimes they'll notice irritability before we do. And that can be an early sign that maybe it's time to come in for another treatment. Because irritability is just kind of being a little on edge, a little fragile, a little less resilient. And so kind of trusting when the people around us are saying that, hey, your mood's falling a little bit as well, can be a great indicator. One of the other ways of kind of outsourcing is sometimes we know that we have a weakness in our ability to do XYZ. So maybe it's stand up for ourselves, or maybe it's put ourselves out there socially, or maybe it's dealing with anxiety around a specific situation. And we know that this other person in our lives does that in a better way than we do. And so just like the bracelets that people used to wear that would say WWJD, or what would Jesus do? There are often people in our lives who you could make a bracelet out of as well and say, well, what would Bob do with the nasty women judging me at work? Or what would James do with the way my sister-in-law is talking to me? Or what would Francine do with going to this party and where she doesn't know a lot of people? And in this way, we can kind of take the best examples and say, well, what would they do in that situation? And what's stopping me from doing that same thing? Why couldn't I have the actions or the thoughts or the behaviors that this other person that I see handling this situation so much better? How can I make that accessible to me as well? And often that jealousy of, I want what they're having is there to tell us, we have access to that too, to the thought processes they're having around a situation or to their behaviors around a situation. And so, kind of having the idea of whatever that other person would do, WWBD or WWFD, gives you access to say, well, I can handle this situation in a different way. It is available to me. So I really love that trick. And I invite you to kind of look around in your life and see if there's someone who's handling a situation that maybe is difficult for you, and see how they're handling it. And I can promise you that Francine and Bob, they all have their own situations where they're kind of outsourcing that as well. Or maybe they wish they had someone to outsource those things to a different way of looking at those situations, because no one handles every situation 100% the way they wish they could. So, figuring out who a mentor can be for that kind of thing allows you to fake it until you make it. Adopt those behaviors until they feel natural to you, or at least mask it until you get the results that you want, whether or not the behaviors ever feel quite your own. And so that can be a really easy way of still getting what we want anyway. So I hope this trick works for you, and that you have fun looking around and trying it.